last time on Anime Slushy. Get it? Because that's the last time. It's a joke. I was going to make it more of a bit, but I couldn't think of one. Hey, it's me, Cube.
It's Fiend, it's Anime Slushy. We're talking about Demon Girl Next Door, or Machikata Mazoku.
Hey, by the way, I realized that we forgot to mention, as we were doing other podcasts, that there was a 1 week break, and then we were going to do them 2 at a time, and so that's why there hasn't been one in a couple weeks. It's because the second one just came out, and I'm glad that they took a 1 week break. Hopefully that means that they're finishing episodes and they have made themselves plenty of time.
I mean, that and we had the taster to do as well. So, we'll probably just do them 2 at a time from now, just to make things a bit easier. Before we get onto these episodes, there's a couple of things some comments I wanted to highlight from the last episode on the YouTube.
Oh shit, social media engagement.
Yeah, and also some of the stuff we raised last time in terms of Izumo Ito's writing style, in terms of when Cube was saying, well, when we were both saying how it felt like you were talking about having a slight webcomics energy in terms of...
certain aspects were being worked out as she goes.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I feel like maybe people might have taken that as us saying that she was completely flying by the seat of her pants, and I don't think that's the case. I think she's definitely got some of this stuff planned out, but there's an interview with her that someone in the Discord found from 2019 about the time when the anime started being made, so we'll come to that in a minute. But I do want to highlight a few of the people in the comments who picked out some things that clearly were foreshadowed, if that makes sense.
Oh, tell me.
First, a couple other ones. Someone pointed out that the Inari sushi joke with Liko asking for Inari sushi was partly to do with Inari shrines being associated with Kitsune.
Yeah.
Yeah. As other people in the comments went on to point out, that doesn't explain why they had a little segment where they just explained what Inari sushi was.
Yeah. It's like the thing that actually vexed me that doesn't explain it.
Yeah. I mean, that was clearly just them having, killing time.
Yeah.
There was also someone, always on your tail in the comments, had a thought that I quite liked, which was that, so Yuko took on 2 curses that almost killed her, right?
Yeah.
Before she gained her demon powers. So she's double cursed, but the fact that she has any power at all, does it sort of imply that Yuko is actually extremely powerful? She's just starting from a long way back.
Well, that would kind of fit in with some of the recent stuff in these episodes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kiza Tubbs also pointed out that, how Ogura had that crow that said, "I used to be a crow"?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a running gag, which I'd forgotten about, because do you remember in one of the first Mikan episodes, we see Momo after she's been struck with the curse several times, and she's somehow ended up with some millionaire's lost crow in a cage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the crow. Because then later on, there's a poster on the school board asking for someone to come and pick it up. And then Ogura just takes it at some point. So that's who that crow is. Oh my God,
it's like this little background thing? Yeah. That's awesome. See, that's the little touches.
Yeah. She likes a running gag.
Yeah.
Now, something else people pointed out, just AH in the YouTube comments, said that Sakura being inside Shamiko was first hinted at the first time buff Metako appeared, because he mentioned sensing his master's magical power in Shamiko. And that this also might be why Shamiko was ever able to run into Momo and Mikan, because the whole point of the town is that demons and magical girls are never supposed to come into contact.
True.
But she's kind of both. So, yeah. JP Artspace also pointed out, in terms of foreshadowing, at least in this volume, which is like the first half of season 2, the gacha toy that Momo gives Shamiko in the first episode.
I still think this one might be a coincidence.
I don't know. The gacha toy she gives her is Tamara Sakura, the mascot that ends up being based off Sakura, embedded in meat. Where did we find Sakura at the end of this volume?
Shamiko isn't meat.
She's made of meat.
Shamiko's soul isn't meat. I don't know.
I see. I think that the fact that came at the start of Volume 3 and the reveal comes at the end of Volume 3 makes me think that might have been a deliberate foreshadow. Like a very silly foreshadow.
It's a foreshadow when finally Sakura emerges, but she's stuck halfway through Shamiko and it's very horrific, and you'll all feel bad for laughing at it when you did.
The Swanko was suggesting that Shamiko's powers being able to affect the mind beyond just dreams was already implied when she was cleaning up Momo's goop, and Momo kind of felt better. So, and like dreams being connected to the mind and the soul being a relatively common theme. I think.
I think her diving into subconscious generally makes sense. It was more when Lilith was saying like she can dive into the subconscious of even like inanimate objects and stuff. I was like, what? You can Disgaea this shit? I guess. Well, start doing that. What happens if you dive into the subconscious of like a potted plant or like your computer? What's gonna happen?
Well, the potted plant would say, "Oh no, not again."
Hey.
One more comment I wanted to highlight from Daniel Carpenter, and I want to give Daniel an award. Daniel said, look, Shamiko's powers weren't retconned. It's just the result of the writers learning how to write a story at the same time as actually writing it. So a lot of things that look like retcons actually aren't.
God damn it, Ruby. We've been escaping talking about Ruby too much lately.
Yeah.
But it's still there. It still haunts us.
It still haunts us. It's part of our brand.
There's no true escape.
We need to accept it. Anyway, because we were discussing Izumo Ito's writing style, someone in the Discord, I wish I could remember who, I'm very sorry, but found an interview with her from 2019 when the first series was coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've only got Google Translate, so there's some parts of this I couldn't make heads or tails of, obviously. But some parts of it translate are just fine. Like, there's one bit where she says, that's, according to Google Translate, well, that's the Columbus egg. I'm like, that's not what she said. That really can't be what she said.
I'm glad you didn't give it to me. I can try to parse this, what I presume is like some very confusing katakana.
So one of the things that she mentioned straight up, is that the decision to animate the series came somewhere towards the end of her writing Volume 3, which is what we've just seen, Momo falling to the dark side and diving into the dream with Shamiko.
Oh.
And the other thing is, that was initially where she planned to end the series. It was going to end at the end of Volume 3, but, considering how well it was doing and the fact it was getting an anime, she agreed to continue the serialization.
Wait, that can't be right, Fiend. That can't be. I think you're talking about where the original show ended, because remember, this stuff had barely happened that long ago when the season 1 ended. When we caught up on the manga after season 1 ended.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is what was said in the interview. This part seemed pretty clear. That I don't know how far back she's talking about when she says she was intending to end it there. I guess that was the original intended ending, but obviously as it approached, she changed. She found a way to stretch it.
Maybe.
I could easily see this being like the climactic point of the story. At least
if it was very reworked.
Yeah, especially from early on in the story. The other thing she talked about that was kind of interesting was that initially Momo was going to be the main character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because this is Google Translate, but the interviewer asks, the demon girl next door is a so-called magical girl thing, but why did you make the demon Shamiko the main character instead of the magical girl? Ito is saying she's always wanted to draw a magical girl manga if she had the chance. And her idea was a story about a sloppy and violent magical girl and a demon girl who takes care of her, even though this magical girl is being intensely hostile.
So they end up, those aspects kind of got mixed up between them.
Yeah, she said that initially Momo was extremely violent and would fight Shamiko all the time, but the more she sort of fleshed out the story, Shamiko just was too nice. And too sort of interesting, so the thing sort of flipped. It was also an idea given to her by her editor as well. So when they boiled it down, that's what they got.
Sometimes editors can help.
Yeah, it's interesting the idea of this really violent Momo.
Yeah, edgy Momo. Oh, that also. I gotta mention, we found that someone linked that freaking. She did a little Madoka doujin, and Madoka characters make total sense in her style, and it looks good. Yeah, and it's cute.
It's super cute and it's very funny. It's the Quartet gets stuck in a witch's maze that's like a RPG video game.
Because of course.
Yeah, but for some reason, Madoka is the princess and Homura is the evil demon who's stolen her away. But
she's fallen to the dark side, Fiend. You'll never believe.
I appreciate anyone who, A, can do a good Mummy Headless joke, because it can be done, and B, recognises that evil devil Homura is something to be made fun of.
It is inherently silly.
The other thing that was relevant to what we were discussing before about what Ito said about her writing style, the interviewer asks her about foreshadowing, how much do you actually plan these things out? And she was saying that she doesn't necessarily plan that much. She likes to sort of let the characters be kind of alive on their own. Like, this is the way some writers write, is they get a really strong conception of the character in their mind and sort of just let the character make their own decisions. The way that she sort of explains that she would do it is she would drop a lot of situations and ideas in front of the characters and then just figure out which ones they'd be most likely to pick.
It's vibes-based storytelling.
Yeah. The way she explains it, again, Google Translate, rather than hints, it's like putting some elements that the character seems to use well and letting the characters decide which one to use. Therefore, there should be a lot of small stories that are left unused. So she's saying, as I said earlier, I decided to let the characters move freely, so the only thing I can do as an author is put stones in the world I'm working on. It's all up to the Shemikos to throw it, destroy it, or ignore it.
That's cute.
Basically, I always want to make a neat break in one book, but in the middle of that volume, I draw with almost no thought about the future development. Then it naturally becomes clear where these kids want to go and what they want to do, so then we decide the landing point accordingly. Also, so the characters don't get into trouble at the last minute, I feel like drawing as much as possible in the first half that might be useful in the final stages. As she mentions at the end, because this is a little bit random, the plots I submitted in advance and the actual development of the manuscript are often completely different, so I'm really sorry to my editor.
Yeah, I feel like the first part of this new episode was playing, or I mean the first of the 2 episodes was playing with the fact that, like, if you actually try to describe this story, it's kind of hard to describe exactly what's happening in it.
Yeah. What I find interesting is that, like, if you had listened to us talk about Wonder Egg, you probably heard us being quite critical of the author of that riding by the seat of his pants and not letting anyone know where he was going. Now, obviously, the situation there is a little bit different, but one of the other differences is, like, this is a legit style of writing, and you can see that because Ito makes it work, I think. Like, she's good at managing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like, most writing is a mix of, like, having planned signposts and letting things happen organically, at least for, like, serialized work.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like, it's, as you write it, you're naturally going to keep sort of thinking about what's happening and coming up with new ideas that might be better than what you had.
I'd say, like, the real difference between a poo-poo butt and a good person is, like, can you make the new stuff work with the old stuff?
Yeah.
Or is it completely random and out of nowhere and doesn't connect whatsoever?
Yeah. Which I think, like we said last time, I think Ito's really good at.
Yeah.
I think she's been very good at stitching these things, new ideas into it. And also, like, of course, the other thing with Wonder Egg is that, like, that's fine to do when you're also just, like, the sole author and artist for the thing, not when there's an entire anime studio relying on what you're doing.
Well, see, Ito even apologized to her editor.
Yeah.
She doesn't like to cause trouble. As this guy's like, I'm an author.
She also talked about, her in the interview talked about the fact that it's a 4-koma format as well. She was saying that she grew up on reading 4-koma mostly, and that she liked the way that you can use 4-koma to tell a story, but each 4-koma is also self-contained because they have, fourth panel is always a punchline.
Yeah.
So there's a way of keeping everything sort of neat, and you can just read little bits at a time. You can read the whole thing at once, but you can do both, and it keeps the jokes coming basically, which is something I've always appreciated about DGND. I think.
Yeah.
It's got a very nice high joke rate.
It's hard to pull that off, though. I feel like that's harder to pull off than like either doing just gags or just a story and with full pages.
Yeah. No. Totally. But again, she does it quite well.
Yeah. It's almost like we like this comic.
She mentions how she used to, she'd go to school and then she'd go to cram school, and it was very stressful. So from 8:30 onwards, because that's when she would finish cram school after starting school at night, because fucking insane. She would tell her parents that she was studying in the library alone from 8:30 onwards.
Yadamanga?
She would just go read 4-koma till about 10 p.m.
Hell yeah.
And she says she's now making the comics she wanted to read back then, so she's very happy with where she's at.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's one other thing that I thought was really interesting, because the interviewer asked her if she had any sort of thoughts about what she might make next after DG&D's finished.
Oh yeah, you said that you wanted to tell me about this. What's going on here?
Well, she said that she likes stories about the connection between girls. I mean, obviously there's a fair bit of that in DG&D.
What?
She was talking about K-On! And Eurocamp, and she was saying how she'd been thinking a lot about the way people connect in a modern world a lot, and the way that you can have smartphones and that lets you have these loose communities. You're part of this community and you have friends without actually being present in each other's lives all the time.
Yeah.
What she liked about Eurocamp was that you have this character who does like being alone. In an older anime, or in most anime, it would eventually end with that character, just continually being with the group. But she liked the fact that in Eurocamp, this character does like being alone a lot of the time, but they don't want to be totally isolated all the time. But in the modern world, they can do that because they can, they have chat apps, they can send each other photos, little video calls and stuff, but still get their little bits of isolation. So she wants to sort of explore the way that the modern world, modern technology has changed the dynamic, and how you can find someone just like you on the other side of the world and connect with them like someone completely irreplaceable to you that otherwise you might never.
I don't know what this is a reference to. I don't have any friends across the world that are the exact same person as me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This sounds dumb.
That's what she wants to. She was invented just for us.
It was pretty cool. I still think about the fact that she made Ragnarok Online stuff and whatnot, and I was just like, hello, also a very similar person to me, apparently.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, like she says, Eurocamp has already explored a little bit of that to some extent, but she'd like to explore it too, and I'd be totally up for that.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, if that's what she wants to do.
Keep making manga.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's all the stuff I want to touch on before we get into the episodes.
All right, we want to talk about the episodes.
Yeah. The interview's quite interesting. I'll link it in the comments if you want to go and look at some of the other stuff she talked about.
Yeah.
Like I say, some of it, if you can't read Japanese, Google Translate's doing its best, but,
Look, learn about the Columbus egg priority. There's no escape from egg.
I don't know. I feel like we escaped from egg.
Well, maybe from that egg, but egg is a concept. You can't escape it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's always eggs.
Egg is a powerful meme food. It's everywhere. Some people understand. My people. Anyway. Okay, so because they clearly could understand that, there was the 1 week break and a lot is going on, they decided that they had to give us a bit of a recap of what's going on. But then they decided, fuck that, we're going to do a gag about a recap where we pretend that it's The Walking Dead, because clearly someone on this production fucking loves The Walking Dead.
Basically, it ends up being Lilith doing her own recap that turned it into a silly zombie show. This is one of those ones where, you can tell they were having so much fun with this. Aside from the silly recap in the first place, the stuff that the anime adds with the stupid voiceovers and the text and everything, you just get that sense of they're having fun.
Yeah. So I assume none of this is from the manga.
Well, that obviously the text and voiceovers no, but the zombie thing was in the manga. Yeah, that's at the start of volume 4.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're officially past where I got, so this is all new, exciting things to me.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, this again, they're sticking quite close to the manga. They're using everything.
Oh,
much like Yuko, they use all of the available materials to make this.
Yeah,
make this food.
I like that part of this fake reality is that Shamiko and Lilith end up with Momo and Mikan. They're like, you can't join our group. We don't have enough food for more people. But Shamiko teaches them how to use every part of the food because she knows about scrimping and stuff, and so she earns her place.
Yeah. Also, one other thing about this ep, there is so much gratuitous English in this ep. It's so good.
They're very into that at the moment. I'd say both these eps have some of it. I mean, I ain't complaining. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. But
good. Yeah, Lilith is like, oh shit, we're out of time. You gotta explain what's actually going on. Shamiko, give us the recap. And Shamiko does this awkward rap trying to recap things to the beat. But every time she introduces something, it then tries to translate it. And it's just like, I am Mazoku girl.
Yeah. Well, she says that in Japanese, and then, there's a voiceover saying it in English.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. The English is I am Mazoku girl.
Yeah.
They didn't translate the Mazoku. And they're doing that thing where they pronounce Japanese words as their impression of an American pronouncing Japanese, which is very funny.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yami Ochi, yeah.
It's just silly fun. Yuko's recap is also bad. And because again, like you were saying, the gag kind of does feel like it's very hard to recap the show. It's so hard to explain what happened.
Yeah.
But then they just get on with it.
Yeah, but then we get what is probably the most actual functional recap, which is Yuko's making a summer diary, almost like a little kid, where she has little drawings of things that happened to her over the summer.
I like that she's going to be submitting to school a chunk of the diary that says, I ate some weird food that kind of fucked up my memory, so I don't know what happened for about a week here.
Yeah.
It's that's going to school.
Well, look, in this world, I guess her teacher will just be like, oh, Yuko, you need to take better care of yourself.
Yeah. So the basic thrust of this episode is that after showing Anri her diary, Anri's like, you did a lot of very extreme things this summer. You should try and have at least one day of normal vacation.
Yeah.
Like a normal person. Yeah, just relax.
Yeah, she says it's important to have a day of relaxation, and I don't understand what she's talking about. What is she talking about?
I also did like the touch of her exercise book is styled like one of those older sort of exercise books with a funny picture on the front. But the picture is of a giant squid attacking a submarine, which is where Yuko used to think her father was before she found out he was in the box. There's so many little callback jokes. They love doing this so much.
I'll call back. So Henri insists that she do some normal relaxation summer stuff.
Yeah, so she goes and buys some new old video games, and she's looking for Momo and Mikan, but they went out to train, so she's kind of on her own. And she's sitting there playing video games for a bit, and she's just sort of going, it doesn't feel right anymore. The episode is about the fact that Yuko feels a bit weird spending time on her own when she never used to. But just that little shot of her playing video games in the summer alone is like, oh man, I remember when that started to feel wrong for me, you know?
I have no idea what you're talking about. That's never wrong.
There were summers where all I would want to do is just fuck around on a 64 or something. But then like you get to a certain age and just like you start to feel a bit weird about spending all your time doing that. I was like, man.
Yeah. Still want to though.
Yeah.
Or I still want to. In my dreams.
You get to be a weird watermelon cat girl while you do it. So, you know, that's different.
I don't know what you're talking about. Please maintain kayfabe.
But yeah, so she goes around asking people for advice. Well, first of all, she asks Lilith for advice. And her advice boils down to get naked and drink wine outdoors.
Oh, yeah, because that's what we used to do in Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
I don't think that's historically accurate.
I just like that Lilith's like, oh, yeah, it was fun. It was a really good time. And she's like, we can't do that. I'm like, oh. It just seems genuinely kind of bummed.
Yeah.
That she can't go outside naked and drink wine.
I think everyone should be naked and drink wine.
Yeah.
But so since Yuko doesn't know anything better to do, she ends up just going to the cafe.
Yeah.
her part-time job.
What should I do for summer? What's something fun to do for summer? And her boss ropes her into working part of the day, selling lunchboxes.
Yeah, bento for like, or I guess it's not for the festival yet, but they are going to sell them at the festival or something.
You see what you think is like a flash forward to like, oh, here's what you could do. And Shamiko's saying, no, I don't want to do that. And then it turns out she has been doing it for like at least an hour or so.
Yeah. And he's like, you were surprisingly agreeable to doing that, actually.
But she got paid, so that's good. The tapir also explains that like summer is always like a really, really rough time for people in hospitality. So he's got no idea what to do to have fun in summer.
Yeah. It's the time when you really got to work hard because that's when you can make so much of your money.
Yeah. But yeah, they mentioned there's a festival on, which is why they were making all these lunchboxes. And Liko's like, oh, you should go to the festival. But you know what you need? You need an anime trope. You need a standard anime episode thing that we're getting to in this episode. What is that, Cube?
You need to wear a cute yukata.
Yeah.
You need to wear a cute yukata.
Even Spec Ops Oscar, the most disgusting show I ever watched, had a yukata episode.
Do not bring mention of Spec Ops Oscar into this holy place.
I'm just saying, it's inescapable. It's like, you got to do it. You got to have a yukata
It's
episode.
important.
Yeah.
Yukata are cute.
Yeah. And it is cute.
Yeah, so thank you for your service, Liko. So Shamiko goes to the festival and she's just doing like all the most generic festival things. And she's like, still doesn't feel right. I've got my, again with the gratuitous English.
Oh, yeah.
Yo.
I like when it gets to the candy apple, it's just because that's one of the last things that she lists all the things that she's got and that she's holding that make this summer. So like, yeah, she's got yakitori and a hot dog. And when it gets to the candy apple, it's like, oh, candy apple.
Candy apple. Vinyl Poco Katana. Oh yeah, he's like yukata. You know, like again pronouncing it in a stupid way on purpose.
Yeah.
And ponytail.
But yeah, she's trying to have fun, but again, she's just saying it doesn't feel right anymore just doing this alone. And she's about to go home, kind of a little bit bummed out. But then there's an announcement that two of her minions are looking for her.
Mr. Shamiko, blah blah blah. Yeah, two of your minions are looking for you.
Please come to the administration tent. And yeah, Momo and Mikan are there. And they're also in yukatas because they went looking for Yuko and they ended up at the cafe and Liko put them both in yukatas and put a spell on them that won't let Momo take the yukata off until midnight.
She's very powerful. She
is. So this is the thing you start to get a bit more of in these two episodes, which I feel like it's coming across better in the anime than it did in the manga. The fact that Liko is actually genuinely pretty well-meaning. She's just got a very warped perspective on things.
Yeah. No, I'm liking her more now. Because, yeah, she does want to help. She's just, like, old and has a kind of weird sense of right and wrong because she's, lived as this fox demon this whole time.
Yeah, and like, not super great about consent for certain things.
Well, yeah, who needs that?
Yeah. Someone else in the comments pointed out that, like, yeah, she's like the Chinese version of a kitsune. It's a very, very, very broad way of describing what's the name of the thing she actually is? Huli Jing?
Yeah. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. You pronounce it wrong.
Yeah, I got it wrong. But what someone in the comments pointed out was like, kitsune are like, they're into pranks. Huliling are like, they will kill you. They're a lot, their stories are a lot darker in general.
Hell yeah.
Which is why it's funny. That's what, yeah, that's.
Well, she does imply that she used to kick the shit out of magical girls.
Yeah. Anyway, so Momo and Mikan are also just like oh, we're glad we found you. We should probably go home though. And Yuko's like, no, we're having summer fun. We're doing summer fun things.
You can't run away from summer, which is like a callback to something that was going on earlier.
Yeah.
She needs to defeat summer.
Yeah. And so, and she's saying to them, you know, she always has to talk around just saying, I would like to do something with friends. I like having friends around now. Like she has to talk about how like, you know, I've realized that summer is too powerful and I can't handle all of summer fun alone. So clearly I need to delegate it and split the summer fun up with my minions. So, you know, obviously we're just going to have to share summer together and do summer things together. I was like, can you just say you like friends? Yeah. You like having friends, you fucking dork.
Here, have some of my takoyaki. Long story short, have one.
Yeah.
I like when Momo is doing the fish catching minigame and they just all start jumping into her net thing and they're just kind of going in there.
Yeah, and
Cute.
And you can hear the fish all just going, wee.
Yeah. She's magical.
There's also, they added a little gag here when Shemiko's offering Mikan some takoyaki. They're just having a normal conversation, then suddenly Mikan's like hand pops into frame with a lemon, and Yuko just like, whoop, back.
Yeah.
Then they get another call from the admin tent because Lilith came here in a doll form as well and blew all her money at the string lottery, which is something that Liko had suggested Shemiko muck around with earlier, and she was told not to. And, you know, of course, Lilith did it.
Yeah, don't waste your money on gambling, kids. It's only for Lilith to do.
But yeah.
And then the kind of ending gag of this thing is that Yuko gets back and she returns the yukata to Liko, and Liko's like, "Oh, I didn't need that. Pew! It was just a leaf that I transformed." And Yuko was like, "I was walking around in the leaf the whole time."
Yeah, Liko is very powerful.
I know.
She's got so much magic.
She knew a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Useful friend.
And yeah, but this is the other thing. Liko and the tapir boss are in the eye catch now.
Oh yeah, I liked that. Now Momo has to stop two people from putting things into the hot pot because Liko is trying to put her leaf into it and Mikan is still trying to put her Mikan in it, and so she has to use both her arms to stop both of them.
Yeah, I like the first half of it too when Liko's just kind of sneaking sideways towards the hot pot, and then when everyone turns.
Oh yeah, and she gets the big like cat looking eyes.
Yeah. She gets fox eyes. Yeah. Now, so that episode, you know, we're not advancing the plot here at all. And the second half of this episode, we're still not advancing the plot at all. This is why I think what she was saying about the end of Volume 3 being where she'd originally intended to end things rings a little true to me, because I remember when I was reading this when it was coming out, this did start to feel like the show was spinning its wheels just a little.
But I guess it's just that in the sense that this is the fucking around part of the volume, kind of like how when Yuko was doing her part-time work and stuff, that was kind of in the fucking around part of that volume.
Yeah, but at least like with that stuff, that did lead to what happens in the end.
Yeah.
Knowing how Volume 4 ends, nothing that happened in these two eps really has all that much to do where the rest of the series is going, or the volume is going.
Yeah, there's little hints of stuff that they drop. Like they talk about Momo being an orphan here and whatnot.
But again, that doesn't have much to do with the end of this volume.
That's true.
Like that's for like a few volumes later.
Or I say that's true, but I don't actually know. Oh!
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. This is all cute shit, and like what we're going to get coming up with Mikan is good as well. It's just that this does feel like she was filling time while she was working out where she wanted to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little more self-contained.
Yeah. Which is fine. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think I do think you can see that there was a bit more sort of really concrete planning done up to the end of Volume 3, and from Volume 4 onwards, we're sort of feeling it out as we go a bit more than she was before. Yeah. Anyway.
I also think that this episode has a few more wonky shots than the rest of the episodes, or I don't know, just this half has like a lot of like kind of like Jackie faces.
A little bit, yeah. There's a couple.
But the whole thrust of this part is summer homework. You gotta finish it. Momo doesn't wanna. Shamiko's, we gotta.
Yeah, I like that part of Shamiko's argument is like, you're a magical girl, you're meant to do these things properly, and Momo's like, oh, I'm kind of evil.
Yeah, I fell to darkness at one time, so like I'm kind of evil, so can't do my homework.
Yeah, Shamiko wasn't falling for that. I do like Momo goes on this little rant about homework being a scam. Like, this is meant to be a vacation. Why are they making us do homework? It's like unpaid study.
Yeah.
We should just go work out. Let's go work out. And like Yuko almost gets talked into it.
She says she needs to focus on honing her brute strength instead so she can protect Shamiko.
Genuinely, there is something to the idea of homework being a bit of a scam.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Let kids have their life while they still can.
There's studies that say that the kids should be able to just fuck around. It's important.
Let them fuck around and find out.
Now, okay, so yeah, here's where we get some more Momo backstory, because you can't let a single episode pass without learning something sad about Momo.
God damn it.
So she mentions that she kind of got her bad habits regarding homework from Sakura. In total passing, she mentions, I was an orphan. I don't really remember it, but I wasn't very good with people. So Sakura used to always take me around places to meet people and do things. But that meant that she ended up doing all of her homework at the end of the summer. And there's a little speech she gives about how, deadlines can always be extended. So you just got to go apologize to your teacher. It'll be fine. I'm off to apologize to my teacher.
But also Sakura does come up because Shamiko said that she wanted to be like the Sakura from Momo. Like Sakura's her big sister, but Sakura's stuck inside Shamiko. So Shamiko's got to be the big sister.
Yeah.
And we're practically already family anyways. Like we're going to be family, you know. It's not because we're going to get fucking married.
But also, yeah, just really quickly, I was an orphan. I don't remember it. And it's just, Momo.
Yeah.
Momo.
Is not everyone not a magic orphan that was taken into a magical girl family and taken into this really fucked up system they have?
Yeah.
That's for later.
Yeah. Shamiko makes her sit down. She's going to make Momo get through her homework. Or she's going to try and force her to anyway. I like one quick thing. We finally get a look at the front of Momo and she's wearing a cat shirt. Just a shirt that has two cats on it.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, Shamiko has a really cute outfit during the beginning of the segment too, like the one that's almost like a little like white sailor girl dress, and it is cute and fashionable.
Yeah, there's lots of good fashion. They have new outfits every episode, just about. It's cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because like she's going all like, remember that time you tied me to the tire and tried to make me train? I'm going to make you suffer just like that. I'm going to cook dinner. What do you want for dinner? I'm going to make some nice rice balls. and Lilith's in the background going, you just want to have a sleepover. Why can't you just admit these things?
Yeah. She just want to hang out.
Yeah. I also like because the first thing they have to write is an essay about what they want for the future, and Momo's first line on that is like, don't you hate talking about your feelings?
Yeah, and she doesn't know what she wants to do for the future, which is interesting. She has no like future dreams.
Yeah, she doesn't. Well, I mean, again, when you eventually learn what you learn about Momo, it makes sense.
Is she gonna fucking die as a teenager or some shit?
No. There's nothing like that. It's just when you learn what she's been through, the fact that she just isn't really thinking about the future at all it makes sense.
God damn it!
Because again, it's from episode 2 of this show. Like there have always been hints of how deeply like depressed Momo is. Like remember that when they were going running, and while Shamiko was in the middle of her runner's high, Momo was saying, "I like when you go running. You know, it helps you sort of forget about things."
Yeah.
And from the very start, it is very clear that Momo is just not in a healthy place,
Mama.
and hasn't been for some time.
Mama.
Yeah.
Do antidepressants work on magical bodies? But so Shamiko needs to, really get Momo motivated. How can we Momo motivation?
Well, this is the thing. So Momo's talking about how she could write the essay easily if she was just talking about how cute cats are.
Yeah, same girl, same.
And then you see her like scrolling on her phone and she's just looking at photos of cats. I do like Momo. You hear Shamiko think to herself, "Oh no, she's become a lazy phone fiddling magical girl."
Yeah, and she's just like sliding back and forth on the floor. It's funny to see this dynamic like kind of flipped between them somewhat.
Yeah. And it is interesting. It's like I say, in terms of the power dynamics between the two and the way that things tend to flip. This does feel natural in terms of something that Momo doesn't like doing and doesn't want to do. Like she's naturally good at studying. She gets decent test scores. Why should she bother really making an effort with this?
Yeah. Whereas Shamiko's shit at it, but she wants to try hard.
Yeah. And she wants to make sure that Momo's trying hard too.
Yeah.
But yeah, how does she motivate Momo?
She notices that she still has these gifts from Taperman of Tamasakura goods, but it came with 2 VIP tickets to the zoo. And it's very important. And Mo's like, whatever. The zoo, it's going to be all crowded and hot. Pass. But what comes with the VIP tickets? And Shamiko's like, you can pet the baby tigers. And Mo's like, I'm going to do it.
Just immediately focusing. She there's a funny little bit where she sort of half transforms into a magical girl form.
Yeah, I liked that visual.
Yeah, like it's just most of the accessories over the top of the stuff she was already wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, oh Christ, then there's one line, which is, I really don't have any long-term goals, but in terms of the short term, I'd like to go on a nice picnic with you and have some of your nice cooking somewhere. That would be nice.
Yeah, so it's doing the thing because you had alluded to this whole storyline and how you really liked what's happening the episode after this.
I am
or no, the episode after the next episode.
I am so pumped for episode 9. It's one of my favorite stories in the whole thing.
Yeah. You thought we weren't going to get to this or whatever.
Well, yeah, no, because I thought we weren't going to get past volume 3, but obviously, we're doing 3 and 4 now. So we're there. Next week we're getting this episode. I'm so pumped.
Yay!
But yeah, so this is the next short-term goal. They're going to go on a zoo picnic together. So that once Shamiko hears that, she gets a little bit of sort of, the slight dokis, and is then extremely pumped about it. She's going to do such a good job cooking this food, for a picnic and stuff. And we get a nice little smile from Momo. It's really
now
cute.
we finally got the real super plot important stuff going on. Thank God. She's got to make the best bento for Momo, for her girlfriend. This is the true stakes. We're back, baby.
Anyway, yeah, Momo gets it done in 3 days, and then it turns out that Shamiko has been struggling with her math homework, and she's not done.
Yeah, and it's like, this is the worst of both worlds. I spent the whole time doing it, but I still didn't finish.
I'm still bad at math. She's just collapsed on the box, the daddy box, and it's just like there's just tears everywhere. And she's saying, "Look, I'll make the lunch. You can go by yourself. It'll be nice."
Yeah.
And Mum was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely not."
No. Yeah, and so she was like, "You are going to finish it overnight. We're going to pull an all-nighter." And she transforms, and Shamiko's like, "Why you transform?"
And then the episode ends with cutting to Rio, who's like saying, "Ganbare, big sis."
And it's like, Rio's the type that always finishes things first thing.
Yeah, by June, she's already done.
I'd forgotten, I forget how summer vacation works, especially since I never worked past elementary school, and obviously they don't have to do the same shit.
Yeah.
Because Shamiko went to school where she was talking with Henri, and that was a school day, in the middle of summer vacation. And so it's like they have some kind of check-in school day before I don't understand how that all works.
I couldn't quite follow that myself either.
I don't remember how all that works, but I was just like, well, whatever. But that was this episode, and the next episode is so they've earned their zoo trip. They're gonna go to the zoo.
Yeah, so it starts with Yuko trying to make the bento for the lunch. Makes a really big effort to make this bento, but it comes out very brown. Just lots of shades of brown.
Oh, the vegetables and stuff in it really reminded me of the school lunches in Japan, and I got so nostalgic, and I was like, God damn it, I want to eat those again.
This is really key because it's going to be important later, this lunch.
Oh, yeah, I noticed they made a note of really showing her mom we'll put this in the fridge and save it for later, and I was like, oh, is that a little seed for later?
Yeah, and the other thing that people point out is that okay, yes, it's very brown. This was just Yuko doing a test run of making the lunches. And yes, it did turn out very brown, but everyone else still says it does look nice though. It looks like a nice bento.
Oh yeah, again, it appetized me.
Yeah, but Yuko's saying no, it has to be super colourful. It has to pop. And she has a little daydream of Momo being so unimpressed by all the brown that she leaves her.
It has to look like a proper anime bento. God damn it! You got to have the character in there, the mascot character, but made out of food.
So obviously, she needs someone who's good at cooking. So she goes to Liko.
Yeah.
Liko we get a bit of Liko backstory here now. And Liko's suffering because everyone in this show suffers. Everyone in this show has had a bad time.
No, everything in this show is depressing, actually.
Well, but the thing is, for the most part, everyone's past their most depressing point.
That's true.
It's everyone in recovery, kind of, which is nice.
It is true healing anime.
Yeah. Because we're not reveling in the fucking suffering. Well, I mean, we're going to find out everything that happened to Momo, and that's going to suck.
God damn it.
But this is about everyone getting out of the holes that they're in, or having gotten out of the holes that they were in, which is nice.
Yeah.
Except for the dad, he's still in the box. Because
Liko talks about how she learned to make all this different kinds of food, and she would always open up restaurants, and then magical girls would find out that she was getting everyone high and addicted to her food and would attack her, and she'd have to leave.
Yeah. Good. Well, she explains that she has leaves and things that she can add to the food to give them psychedelic effects, but the most important thing is just positive vibes. You just got to make the food with positive vibes, and it'll be good. And she feeds her boss a little rice ball that she made that had a lot of positive vibes in it, and he gets high for about 5 minutes. I did like that he was actually. I went back and listened to it. He was speaking lines from Beatles songs translated into Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rainbow Cellophane, Marmalade Sky, and then you hear him say, "I am the Eggman."
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, because, okay, so there's a part where she's showing different leaves that she could put in Shamiko's food, and the one that she says makes you drowsy is just fucking weed.
Yeah, it's a weed leaf, yeah. It's a marijuana leaf.
It's just got... It's really weird to see that kind of joke in anime. I don't know if it signifies some kind of cultural cultural shift, but it's really funny.
Well, it made me think of what you said happens in that Conan episode where everyone got high and weed and then they killed each other. Which, like...
Yeah, so it's weird to just see, like, this chill depiction of, like, actually marijuana. Yeah, and at first the taper's mad that he got her high, and then she's like, oh, but I did, it's because I'm just so grateful to you. And he's like, I forgive you.
Well, yeah, he says, like, I just really wanted to show you some pretty colours. He's like, I forgive you. Because like this is that thing of, like I was saying, this is really demonstrating the whole thing about how she does mean well. She's just warped. She just has a very warped sense of things.
Look, she knows, hey, people seem to enjoy getting high. Let's get people high.
When she's talking about how she used to get chased out of other towns, she mentions that when she was younger, she wasn't as good at balancing the amount of like good vibes she was putting into her food, so people would get addicted, and that's how the magical girls tended to find her, was because people were like trying to bat down the door to get more.
Yeah, and so she's like, now I just like to make people enjoy my food in a normal way.
Yeah, and she also mentions that this town is the first place where she's been able to do that without being bothered by magical girls. It's all thanks to Sakura.
Pretty good kid, that Sakura.
Yeah, she mentions, that most priestesses, magical girls, don't really care about demons these days, but
Oh yeah. This is fucked up, Fiend.
Yeah, but...
Fiend, this is what the fuck, Fiend, with this lore?
Yeah, when you start to learn more about the Light Clan from this point onwards, and it's not cool.
Yeah, I was like, what? So they say that the magical girls, when they, like, vanquish or, like, weaken or whatever demons, they get, like, tokens as prizes from the Light Clan, and then they can use those to grant wishes?
Yeah.
And what the fuck? And they're like, what? And Shamiko's like, what is Light Clan? And they're like, I don't know. What the fuck, Fiend?
The demons only know what they know about the Light Clan based on what was done to them back in the day. The Light Clans are run by the Familiars. The Familiars are actually the bosses. God, there's Madoka fingerprints all over this. The mascots are actually the bosses. They're the representatives of the Light Clan. And every time a magical girl seals a demon, not like kills or anything, but seals, like the way that Lilith has been sealed, or Shamiko's dad.
Yeah.
The magical girls get to make wishes because they get a token every time they do it, and from there they get to make wishes.
Yeah, and it makes it sound like the more you collect, the like greater a wish you can grant or some shit.
Yeah. Liko's saying to Yuko, it doesn't tend to be a problem these days, but you should still be careful. Like, even if usually it would only happen to you these days if you were genuinely causing trouble, like a lot of trouble in the town. But this town's pretty safe, but still, you should keep your eye out, Yuko. Just be careful.
Is this going to be familiar later? I know that there's something about a fish.
Yeah,
is this going to be a thing with a fish?
Yeah, but it's not like a super serious storyline with the fish.
I've heard of fish.
By the time you get to the fish, the stuff with the Light Clan comes a bit back towards not quite as fucked as well.
Okay.
But I will say, like we said, we know that something massive happened around the time that Sakura and Yuko's dad disappeared. Something that required a lot of magic. Something that required, like, they did something that was really serious and really large.
Yeah.
And it involved Joshua being sealed away.
Oh, so like she had to seal away Joshua to get the token so that she could make a wish for something?
I genuinely don't know, because that part of the story I don't think has been explained yet, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like maybe he volunteered so that they could get the power that they needed to do whatever they needed to do.
Yeah, because that would explain why he's been sealed, because there isn't really a good explanation otherwise.
Yeah.
As to why he had to be put in a box.
God, that might be why this whole concept was introduced.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
So Sarah in the chat just said, Shami Dad is Godoka. And it's like, oh, yeah, kind of, maybe.
But instead of being unexistence, you're just a box.
You're just in a box.
Madoka, do you understand what will happen if you do this? Sets cake on table. You'll be a box forever.
You'll be a box that dispenses advice.
And it's playing that like very dramatic music, Yuki Kajira music.
Now, people are mentioning that this might have had something to do with trying to make Yuko better, but I would point out that Sakura's core was what made Yuko better. That was what was emphasized at the end of Volume 3.
Yeah, it seems like whatever she was doing before that, she wasn't like super aware of Shamiko.
Yeah, she knew. Well, but she'd been trying to help her, but she, obviously, like she said, she couldn't. Shamiko seemed like she was going to die.
Yeah, but so she made it sound like she wasn't. That's probably not what would have been on her mind whenever she did whatever this crazy ass shit was.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll find out eventually, I'm sure. Anyway, the thing that occurs to Shamiko is that Momo and Mikan could have got something really awesome if they had just sealed her away. But they haven't. They've been trying to protect her instead. So this puts even more pressure on her to make sure her bento is really fucking awesome.
You know what? I would say you actually don't have to feel super grateful to people for not fucking you over for personal gain. I would say that's kind of like a minimum.
Liko's helping her with the cooking, and they're saying how they need a wok. And Shamiko turns her stick into a really, really fancy, like perfectly seasoned wok. It's, absolutely perfect for cooking. And both Liko and in particular the tapir recognize, Jesus Christ, this girl is actually really powerful and she does not realize.
She could become a big evil or a big good. I wonder which this particular character could. Oh, she's goofy. Never mind.
Yeah, like she's just like standing there with this thing saying, I don't really know how it works, but it's very useful. It's great when I don't have a pen. It's just like,
yeah, and I like how Liko is like slowly inching forward. Like, can I have it? And she makes a little fox symbol with her hand, like hee.
yeah.
Just transformation. Give me.
Also, we really quickly get one of my favorite gags in the manga, which is Momo's looking for an outfit, and Mikan suggests, I really feel like with your build, a simple black t-shirt would be good. And Momo goes to the store and she finds a t-shirt that says simple black t-shirt on it.
It's perfect.
But they didn't have it in her size.
Alas, this really is a dark magical girl world.
They're meeting at the park where there's all the cats.
Hell yeah.
We see as like a little thing that says like later at the park we can find a lot of cats.
That one.
Mikan and Momo are there, and Mikan's like, "Wow, there's a lot of cats here." And Momo's like, "Yes, this is a park where you can find a lot of cats." I love that sort of gag. It's so dumb.
It's all you need to know about that park, frankly. It's beautiful.
Now Momo's still not feeling great about what she's wearing because she's wearing one of Mikan's dresses. And so this is the other thing. When they were packing up the boxes, Liko offered to let Shemiko use one of the nice lacquer banter boxes they have at the restaurant, so it looks extra fancy.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing about the one they have is it's made for like 4 or 5 people, and there's only going to be like 2 or 3 of them.
Oh no!
So what can we do about this?
Oh no! Well, Liko, Taper gotta come.
Yeah, they've come along, but just quickly. I'm just going to chuck this in the chat. Momo's standing there feeling kind of bad about the outfit, feeling kind of nervous about the whole thing, but then she hears Shamiko's voice, and the look on her face when Shamiko arrives is just like, this show is so gay. It's just
she gay.
She just likes her so much.
You like her, Shamiko? Oh my god! I didn't know it had been memed in such a way.
Yeah, perfect.
She like Shamiko.
I pointed this out to Cubers before as well, but Momo has shifted the way she's using the hair clips that Shamiko gave her. She's now wearing them Lane style.
Yeah, she crossed them so they're an X.
Yeah.
The edgiest of letters.
The little side ponytail that hangs down the side of the head.
Yeah, it's cute. It definitely looks better than like the way she was wearing them before was pretty random when Yuko first puts them on her.
Yeah.
It's like, these are not doing anything.
But look how happy she is. She's just so happy to see her wife.
You know, Shamiko.
But yeah, then she is less happy because Liko's here.
Yeah.
They insist on coming along. Liko's initial excuse is that, well, we heard you were going to look at cute, fluffy animals, and we're both cute, fluffy animals. So it'd make it even better, wouldn't it? And Momo's like, I'm going to stop asking questions. I don't get this. This is confusing.
Yeah, I guess she mostly just still doesn't trust them because of the whole Yuko losing her memories, becoming their part-time person incident.
But she also mentions that when she doesn't think that the other two can hear, she mentions to Mikan that she also kind of feels bad for the fact that she sort of attacked them the first time she saw them. Not like, really massively or anything, but like that she busted into the restaurant and was going to fight them.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny that like she has so much like almost unexplained hatred for these two. And like the only thing I could really think of that would like theoretically justify it would be that she still doesn't trust them after that whole thing that happened with Yuko.
I mean, it seems particularly directed at Liko. And to be fair, Liko is very sus.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything that happens this episode that would lean into that.
The 4 of them are wandering around the zoo. Obviously, the tapir is getting a lot of attention because he's a tapir. Like, people are coming up to pat him. There's this one really strange gag where, like, people are talking to him and, like, he meets one of his regulars from the cafe and he's like, where have I seen you before? Oh, I run the cafe. He's like, oh, yeah, you're the tapir who's in that cafe.
Oh, yeah, and I like how he, like, squishes out his little paw to shake her hands.
Yeah. The zookeepers run up saying, we heard a tapir escaped. And he said, no, I'm a tapir visiting from out of town. And they were like, oh, well, if you're from out of town, that's all right.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to a splash screen with him just posing, going, I'm a good guy tapir.
Yeah, I'm not a bad saver. Well, I think it's because of that whole Baku thing, like it's also the mythological creature. So he's like, I'm not a bad Baku.
Ah, okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, I also love when they arrive at the zoo. It's that same voice that's been doing the gratuitous English is like, Tama Dobutsu Koen. It's just, why?
Just squeezing it in everywhere.
So just having fun saying everything stupidly.
It's lots of silly stuff's happening. There's lots of, shenanigans. What's interesting is that at one point Momo says, like, as much as Momo did just want this to be a day with her and Yuko, she mentions at one point that she was kind of enjoying the craziness and just having all these people around.
Yeah.
And it does feel like you occasionally do get those hints that, like, yeah, Momo's not super good at being around people, but she's starting to learn to be better at it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that at one point they cut to the dog, the barking dog. They fucking love that dog. They got to put it in every episode somewhere. And so they cut to the dog bark, like something is happening with Taper Guy, and they cut to the dog barking, and it's like he had to stay home today.
Yeah, because the woman that's talking to him is the lady with the dog.
Yeah.
And like, so it cuts the dog who was left at home, and then he has her saying, "Don't worry, we'll go for a nice long walk later."
Oh, yeah, she's the one who shook his hand. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand. They love it.
While Mikan and Shamiko are with the tapir, he got cut off saying something earlier.
Oh, yeah.
About something they needed to do for Momo. And he's like, oh, yeah, shit, okay. And he starts to explain. And then we see Momo on her own, and Yuko goes up to her and says, hey, look, everyone had to leave all of a sudden, so we should just go and have lunch together.
Yeah, they all had these dumb excuses for leaving, and it's totally believable.
Yeah.
Hey, let's eat together.
Yeah, and Momo's like, they didn't just leave on my account, did they? Because no. And so then she gets out the lunch, and she's going, so like, I want to know more about you. Because, we're going to be allies, we're going to be friends. I want to know, what are your weaknesses? Why did you become a magical girl?
Which is, they make it sound like that's not believable for Shamiko to say. It's kind of believable for Shamiko to say.
Yeah, it is. Because the thing is, Momo says, I want the same, but the thing is, you are not Shamiko. And she grabs her by the shoulders and uses a move. Yeah, it's Liko. It's Liko disguised as Shamiko.
It's a pretty well drawn little action shot of her throwing her.
Yeah, it is. The tiny bits of Sakako we get in this.
Yeah, someone was like, finally in this fucking show, it's my chance to draw a little action. Put this in my demo reel.
They should get the guy from Magi Reco who just suddenly gets like tons of stupid highlights and we can't see what's happening.
Oh my god. That would be really funny though. That would make it work.
They were taking the piss out of that guy.
But yeah, clearly something's off because you can also hear like her voice resonating in a weird way, and it's like, this isn't Shamiko, is it?
Yeah, and Momo also picks up on all the other things, like your core was too strong, your tail's being held the wrong way. Like she knows she knows Shamiko too well.
She knows Shamiko very, very intimately, yeah. Idiot.
Yeah. And the other thing is that Liko was trying to feed her these weird leaves.
Yeah.
Momo's like, this is fucked. What were you trying to do? And then the other three turn up. The tapir sees what's happened. And like there's a shot of him doing like an action grovel.
Yeah, I liked that. Like just immediately going into grovel.
Yeah, so I shouldn't have let Liko out of my sight. I'm so sorry. Like he just makes a dent in the ground. He hits it so hard.
But it's okay. She meant well because she just wanted Momo to feel better.
Yeah, so it turns out because of all the going back and forth and the extreme methods they used to when Momo fell to darkness, her core has been in a state of flux and really unstable. Liko and the tapir were both more aware of this than the other girls because they've got animal senses. That's the excuse anyway.
Or demon animal senses.
Yeah, so they were trying to get her to eat these leaves because it's medicine. It'll stabilize her core. And Liko also says, like, I know you didn't trust me, so I figured you'd probably have an easier time of eating the medicine if I tricked you.
But then she's also, I just thought it would be funny to have a magical girl eating, or or a shrine maiden or whatever, eating my food without knowing,
or eating a bunch of grass without knowing. It seemed funny.
And he says, "Liko, shut up, da."
Yeah, you have to shut the fuck up.
Now it's time for shut up.
But they have what's actually like almost a nice talk where she's saying like, just in future, just I'll take the medicine, just explain it to me up front. And like he's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
it's an interesting idea. And
take it under consideration, maybe.
Yeah, and they're still arguing and stuff. But Shamiko goes, hey, Momo, do you remember why we meant to come here? The thing we were really going to do?
Oh, yeah.
And Momo's like, oh, no. And they go to the VIP tiger cub enclosure, and it is closed.
Good. That's a very problematic thing. You shouldn't be able to do that anyways. You're cancel.
Yeah.
What is this, fucking Tiger King?
Yeah. Momo missed out. She missed out on lunch. She missed out on petting the baby tigers.
It's horrible.
Liko also a consolation prize. She says, my fox form is very fluffy. Do you want to cuddle me? And Momo's like, absolutely not. And then it cuts to Momo cuddling.
She does look pretty cute and fluffy. I don't think we'd ever really seen her fox form before.
No, this is the first time. So yeah, she just and
pretty good.
Momo's walking home just muttering, "Don't think this means you won," over and over again. But eventually, it just turns into fluffy, and everyone else saying they want to go too.
Yeah.
I do like the last little thing we get is like a check-in on everyone who wasn't in this episode.
Yeah.
It cuts to Ogura going, well, that was all very cute, but I need to have some fun. It makes an evil face.
Dun, dun, dun.
Then it cuts to Lilith going, I wanted more dialogue.
What's with the face on the TV?
I don't know.
There's just like a weird Yume Nikki, like RPG creepypasta face on the TV.
And she's just sitting there going, we can. Momo.
I want a dialogue.
And then it just quickly cuts to Henri going, I got all my homework done a while ago. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, and so there's some kind of shenanigans happening next time. She's gonna fall to darkness again. It's in the next episode preview. Oh no, why could that be?
Yeah.
Must be something pretty serious.
It's, oh God, I cannot wait for you to watch that episode. Okay, so this is another point that Saad just raised in the chat. This is, like, aside from everything else we like about Demon Girl Next Door, it's a good anime comedy. And those are fucking rare. Those are so fucking rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, like, good comedy is probably pretty rare. Like, obviously, like, I think of anime comedy as, like, being kind of bad, but, like, it's not like I watch a lot of random comedy live action shows.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's been periods where sitcoms have been, like, a higher general standard than they are now. But I tend to think a lot of the ones that work well are the ones that, like, mix in a bit of heart and a bit of actual story with everything else.
Yeah.
And DG&D is definitely one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of what you talked about. Like, she's good at executing gags. She was raised on a 4-coma, and the 4-coma format forces her to do at least one gag every 4 panels. So that's part of the reason that, like, DG&D is its own story, but it does have a nice high gag rate, and it's funny. It's funny for the most part.
And they're clearly having fun making it.
But I do think having the story and actual characters does make it a bit easier. Because you get to do a lot of, like, character comedy as opposed to just gags.
Yeah.
What if you're looking at other anime comedy or just comedy in general? I feel like stuff like Nichijou is a lot harder to pull off because it's just gags. That's all you've got to work with. You just have to do one-off gags. There's no real. I mean, apart from maybe Neo, there's no real character development.
Did you say Neo?
Not Neo. What's her name?
Are you talking about the robot girl?
Yeah. What's her name?
Nano.
No. That's it. Yeah.
Neo.
I lost some letters, and even then it's only very simple. But, like, that's a lot harder. IMO is, like, pulling off just a straight gag show because I feel like whenever I think of really bad anime comedy, that's usually what I'm thinking of is the shows that are the straight gag ones that are just, like, painfully annoying and unfunny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could never do that. But yeah, it's much more natural and fun to mix comedy in with, characters that are very well drawn.
Yeah. They're getting to sort of make jokes about the way they're developing and stuff.
Yeah.
And relationships and all that sort of shit. That isn't just, like, the character-based jokes that come out of, like, Nichijou are just about the very basic trope concepts behind those characters. They don't have a ton going on for the most part.
Oh god, yeah, so I'll mention Nozaki-kun. I haven't read the manga, I watched the anime, but yeah, that one is also very, like, this is really fucking funny. That's DG&D.
Yeah.
That was somewhere in there. Somewhere in there was the episodes of DG&D.
It's really, really good. You should watch it.
This has been our weekly friendship check-in. Welcome to our friendship.
Yeah, that's how it works. Apparently, she's gonna do a comic about us at some point.
No, it's you know what I'm gonna do? Cat comic next some days.
No, not you,
cats.
not you, Ito.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you just assume I'm gonna do a comic about us. I would never do a comic about myself. That would be incredibly masturbatory, frankly. That'd be cringe.
We'll talk to you guys later, probably for the next DG&D. We're still working on other stuff, but yeah, for the minute, DG&D takes priority.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you all have a wonderful anime.
Yeah.